everybody. John Pynakker with the Mohave Valley Daily News, and we're here with Valley Voices, brought to you by Living Waters Hospice. Your hometown hospice was voted #1 for the 3rd year in a row by the Mohave Valley Daily News readers. If you are needing hospice services, please call Living Waters Hospice at 928-565-9000. I am pleased today to be joined by my good friend and your mayor. I know I'm a name dropper, but it is what it is. Mayor Brady. How you doing, sir?
Good to see you, my friend.
Good seeing you. Sorry I missed breakfast this morning.
Yeah, we were wondering where you were at.
Daily dose things. First of all, let's well, we're going to talk a little bit about the city council meeting that we just had. But I wanted to start off by asking how Carla's doing.
Oh, thank you for asking. A lot of people are inquiring, and she's now with her daughter and her grandchildren and in Napa, and I'll be going up there next week. But she's recovering nicely. She's still fatigued, and that's been going on 3 weeks now, so she's not fully recovered, but she's much better on the road to recovery.
Good. It's something that, you know, Maria and I both went through 3 or 4 months ago now, I guess it's been, and we still occasionally have the headaches, the dizziness, and the fatigue. I try to push it off as COVID. Maria believes that I'm just getting old for the fatigue part and the dizziness part.
And the achy part.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's something that the people that I know that have had it, great for a week, this pops up. Great for a few days, this pops up. The headaches are the ones that I still have. Every 3 or 4 days I'll get it, and it's horrible. So just tell her to please hang in there, and you know, the loss that you guys suffered with her father, it's, you know, our prayers are with her and you and the family.
Thank you, John.
All right, city council meeting.
A long one.
It was a long one.
That was one of the longest ones we've had.
And it's something that, you know, EPCOR was a big topic, and that garnered a lot of interest, and we've had other things that have garnered a lot of interest as far as people wanting to come and talk to the city council about it and express their opinions. But I don't know that anything has been as volatile, or I don't know if that's really the word, as the mask mandate discussion. We'll get to that in a few minutes. So let's cover some of the easier ones for you first. Okay. Section 12, you guys voted to go ahead and change the plan on that. If we could just ask you a little bit about your thoughts on it, but also about, we just passed the 5-year mark for the Don Laughlin donation, right? So,
we will at the end of the month.
Okay, I thought it was December 12th for some reason. So where are we at in that whole process, in the swap?
Right now it's still in the hands of the BLM appraiser. We haven't, they've put their appraiser on it, and he is figuring out exactly what the values of each of the properties are. And obviously we know that the Don Laughlin property, 1,120 acres, is not as valuable as riverfront property, but there's a whole lot of considerations that go into it. So it's complicated, and we know that we are not going to get as much land at Section 12 as we had hoped to. So there's going to be a give and take as to what we get, and, you know, or how much we get and where we get it. And then there's also the opportunity that we can also purchase some if the time is right. And you know, I'm advocating for Toby and the city council that if we can and it's affordable, we try and get as much of it as we can. The rest of it will remain, though, in recreation and public purpose lease. The only difference is that it can only be used for public recreation, and there can be no commercialization of it. And, you know, we would like to see a blend of commercial along the highway that supports the recreation down below, so we can take some of the money that we would make off of it to help further the development of the property.
And we're talking about the property starting just north of Community Park, correct, on both sides of the road?
That's not north of Community Park, north of Laughlin Ranch Boulevard.
Yeah, north of Laughlin Ranch Boulevard, but it's got the chamber in it, and then I thought Community Park was part of that as well.
The whole thing.
Up to the fire department.
From all the way to the fire department, all the way down to close to the condos on the south end.
On both sides of
Yeah,
it.
that's all property that we have under control now, and that's all open for trade if we can do
Trade
it.
if you can. Okay. And last night's discussion on the changes in Section 12 were really kind of a formality just to get the boat launch ramp
Correct.
stuff changed to the plan.
We submit a plan to the BLM, and it has to meet with their approval. And whenever we make a change, we have to go back to them. So just in recent weeks, we've had that discussion about the commercial launching ramp. And the city council decided that they wanted to move forward with the building a commercial ramp at the very north end of the community park down by First Street. Mm-hmm. So to do that, we basically have to make a change with the BLM, and that was the primary purpose of doing it. We also know that there's a need for more ball fields. We will lose one of those ball fields as part of at the very north end, we'll lose one of those ball fields with the commercial launch ramp that we plan on building. And we know that there's a need for more ball fields on the north end of town. Mm-hmm. So the plan also included a couple of ball field complexes that we hope to build sometime in the near future to serve the residents on the north side of town.
And that will be on the east side of 95?
That would be on the east side of 95, correct.
Okay. Body cameras. I know
yeah.
This is something that we've been talking about for quite a while now. Approve the purchase of 60 body cameras along with the storage and retrieval systems at a cost of about $410,000.
Not including taxes. Add another $40,000 onto it over the course of 5 years.
But this is something that I know that the City Council has been interested in. I know that the community has been very interested in as well. Was there any really backlash to approving this, or anybody
No. As a matter of fact, we've been in contact with Lake Cavazoo City Manager and the Kingman City Manager, and I've inquired to them. They have the body camera programs, and both of them love it. They say that it's just been instrumental in reducing the number of complaints that they have against their officers, and it also makes the officer a little more tolerant, perhaps. So they've been doing it for a while now, and as part of last year's budget process, Toby left the body cameras out because it was a $500,000 expected expense. And he said that if the city council really wants to do it earlier, then bring it up during the budget discussions. So I raised that subject, and our city council said, no, it's time, let's do it right now. Good. The problem, though, was that when we looked at the budget process last year, we did that in March. And while we're thinking about it, I'm now researching, and the federal government has grants available with an application deadline of March. Wow. So while we're exploring it, it's like, well, do we want to wait another year and apply in March and then wait another year before you get the money? And we decided, no, we wanted to move forward with it. So we instructed the city manager to put it in the budget, and we're now going to spend that $410,000, and hopefully we'll still apply for the grants and get reimbursed for our expenses moving forward.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that seeing as how the city hasn't been hit as bad as they had anticipated during the budget process by the COVID sales tax and everything because of COVID, I think it's great that we're able to move forward on that. I also think it's great that Angie Johnson finally has been hired as the permanent public works director.
Yeah, she's been in that for quite a while now.
She replaced Kwan, correct?
Correct.
So what is that, 3 years ago about?
Yeah, according to Toby, it was about 2 years ago, but time is escaping me anymore as I get older. I thought it was just last week, but I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, so we're really glad that she is.
And she's been doing a terrific job. I got to give her a lot of credit. I see her out and about everywhere, and I give her a lot of credit. She's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think she's been.
And I hope people appreciate the job that we're doing with the roads in town. Ever since we started our new road procedures, I think we're getting better and better at it, and now they've come up with another solution, a better mix, and I think we're going to even see better improvements in the days to come.
Great. I know that you guys had approved the IGA with I almost said Dot Foods, Department of Transportation for work on the Parkway
Yeah.
in Silver Creek and those things last night. So it's good seeing our stuff being put to work. All right, we're going to talk masks in a second, but first we're going to take a break here for our commercial. Join Newswest Publishing in the city of Bullhead City this February 10th at the Anderson Auto Fieldhouse for our 9th annual Winter Expo. Over the past 8 years, each expo has grown bigger and better. It's a great opportunity for our local businesses to showcase their services offered to full-time residents and winter visitors of the community. You can spend your morning visiting a wide variety of tri-state area businesses, all in one great location. During your walk through the expo, you can expect to find services ranging from home health and hospice to real estate professionals, car dealers, and so much more. There will even be small local businesses offering a wide range of products for your home, health and beauty, or gift giving, and you get to meet the mayor. No matter what you're looking for, there is sure to be something for everyone at the 2021 Winter Expo, and the Anderson Auto Fieldhouse is a perfect place to find it. All right.
Next.
And you get to meet the mayor.
You get to meet the mayor. We might not be shaking hands like we have in years past.
No. Probably elbows or fist bumps or
Could be.
how you doing kind of thing. Yeah, salutes. All right, the mask mandate. You and I probably talked about this 50 or 60 times at different venues about our thoughts on it and how we feel about it, having gone through COVID, and you basically have gone through it with seeing how Carla's had to deal with it, and I'm sure a lot of people in the community that you know have dealt with it. During the meeting, it was decided 5-2 to not institute a new mask mandate. You were one of the 5. It was Dr. Ziri and Mark Clark who voted for the mandate. Can you just go into a little bit, despite the medical professionals being there saying what they had to say, and that. And seeing, you're an educated man, you see how the numbers have been going. You and I have talked about where the numbers went when the mandate went into effect, where it went after the mandate was canceled, and what were your thoughts in going into not voting for it this time?
Well, as you're well aware, when Governor Ducey back in June gave cities the authority to implement a mask policy as part of the emergency process, I was given that responsibility as the mayor, along with the mayors of Havasu and Kingman. And all 3 of us resisted at first because our numbers weren't that bad and we didn't want to tread on people's constitutional rights. But then we started to approach the 4th of July weekend and our numbers were rising tremendously. At that time, we didn't know anything about the pandemic. We had heard that there was like a 5% death rate and the hospitals were going to be overrun and the sky was going to fall. So as a precaution, all 3 mayors basically decided that we were going to implement the mask policy unilaterally without council decisions. So we did that. And I have no regrets that we did that, because at that time there was so many unknowns about it that it was the proper decision in my mind to protect the citizens of our town, especially the vulnerable and the elderly. And then shortly afterwards we had the beaches that were being overrun for the 4th of July weekend. You can all remember that on the 4th of July our beaches were absolutely cram-packed with people, and community members asked me to close the beaches. We also realized that was the first weekend that we were charging fees to get in, and that was uncontrollable. We didn't plan right for that. So we closed the beaches for about a month, and then the city council came back and said, or a couple of city council members came back and said, let's reopen the beaches. At that point in time I said, all right, if we're going to vote on reopening the beaches, let's make it a council decision on the masks. So we did. The council voted to keep the mask policy in place, but to reopen the beaches on a limited basis with no more than 400 cars, which was fine. Mm-hmm. And that appears to have been a good decision. But then the following month, we only extended the mask policy for 1 month. When we brought it back to council the second time, it was Well, first off, it was a 4-3 vote to keep the masks in place, and then a month later it was a 4-3 vote to do away with the mask policy. So, and I voted to keep the mask in place. I voted to keep the beaches closed every time. So those of you who know me, you know that I was for it all along. And last night, you can say I flipped. I voted to not reinstate the mask policy. I am proud of the citizens of Bullhead City. We implemented the mask policy, and the citizens heeded the call and are watching what's going on. And I would say, from a personal opinion, that more than 80% of our citizens are complying with what would be the mask policy if we would have reinstated it. They're already doing it. Stores, businesses, I commend them for having their own mask policy and enforcing it. So, we're all working together on this, and I believe we have at least an 80%, if not more, compliance rate. As I explained last night, implementing the policy again, who are we trying to change the behavior of? The remaining 20%? And with that 20%, you're now looking at those people who have health conditions who can't wear a mask. We're trying to change the behavior of those people who feel it's their constitutional right not to wear a mask. And we're also trying to change the behavior of those lazy people who just don't want to do it. So when we're looking at implementing the mask policy or reinstating it, what kind of compliance are we going to get from that remaining 20%? So yeah. I was looking at it in the light that perhaps we might get another 5% compliance. And I just don't want to deal with all the animosity and divisiveness that would incur should we implement it once again.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is something that I've had debates with some of our county supervisors with. What are your thoughts on the responsibility of the politicians when it comes to as part of your oath, it's I will support the Constitution and the law and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona as well. But it also says I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of mayor or city council member or board of supervisor, respectively. But when you have medical professionals saying one thing, how do you balance your decision when it comes to this is what the medical professionals are telling me we need to do, this is what the community wants us to do?
Well, that's a hard balancing act. I would always balance it on the side of what I believe is right for our community, regardless of what the people may want. And that's pretty much what I did when I unilaterally imposed the mask requirement and closed the beaches. I heard from people that they wanted me to do that, and after we did it, then I got the hate mail from everybody who wanted me to, that told me I was an idiot. Yeah. What I look at, though, is that I'm hearing opinions from people, and I want to hear your opinions. There's no question I do, but I would also like it to be backed up with your knowledge of what all of the issues are, and that's what I find so frequently happens, is that people are not aware of all of the intricate details that goes into that decision. So when you're talking about the medical profession, it's like, well, who do you listen to? I had a physical on Monday with Dr. Dahlman, my physician, my family physician, and we probably spent a half hour.
For sure don't listen to him.
Well, no, I have the utmost respect for Dr.
Absolutely,
Dahlman.
Dr. Dahlman's a great one.
Yeah, and it was like his opinion differs from Dr. Zeri's opinion. So who am I supposed to listen to? But Dr. Dahlman told me some things that were pretty much confirmed at last night's city council meeting or Tuesday's city council meeting, about the proper wearing of the masks. We have been talking about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, but what I learned in 2 hours of meetings yesterday, a workshop in the city council meeting, that nobody is wearing their mask properly. Chaz Martinez got up yesterday and he adjusted his mask 14 times in 3 minutes while he was there. But just previously, we heard the nursing supervisors for both Warm Sea and Valley View tell us that you have to wear the mask properly. And that includes not touching it.
Yeah.
And you need to dispose of it, and you need to wash it, and you need to sanitize it. You know, my mask has been sitting in my car for the last 3 months. So am I putting myself at risk by wearing this mask? And I fault the city, I fault the health department, I fault the state, that if wearing your mask properly is probably more important than wearing a mask, we should be concentrating on that. So now that goes back to your question, who do you listen to? And I don't think there's been enough information out there about proper wearing of the mask. So,
well, there's a lot of information from day one that's come out that changed.
yes,
You know,
absolutely.
You needed this, and you need to do this. Don't do that anymore. That's bad. I talked to one of our local doctors a month ago or so, and he had said that at the beginning of this, they were told to intubate, hold off as long as possible to do this. Now the direction is to, as soon as you see any kind of decline, start intubating. So I understand it's changing. I don't know if it's because of the virus is changing, as some people have reported, or if it's because they're just learning more and more about it and saying that this is the better way to handle it.
We are learning more about it. There's no question about it. From what we knew when this all started and what we know now, there's a complete change on the way it's being treated. It's on the death rate, on the asymptomatic spread, on the testing. We know so much more about it, but now we're learning about the long haulers. The people like yourself who have symptoms that still exist long after you've recovered.
And we both have heard from the about firefighters around the country that are young and healthy that are exposed to this, and now they have lung heart problems that just came out of nowhere in that. So that's disconcerting to me. I certainly, and I've said this to my wife and anybody else who will listen, I am certainly glad that during this time we had you as mayor and not me, because I don't think I'd want to be that person that no matter who made this decision or whichever way I went on this, 70% or 30% or 50% of the community is going to be upset with me. So better you than me.
Yeah, well, it's been tough. I got to say, I'm in my 6th year of my mayorship, and this is without a doubt the toughest year that I've experienced. And it's tough for everybody, and I really feel sorry for our citizens, the ones who are locked up in their homes, and the businesses who are in danger of failing. And I just wish there were more we could do at the city level, but I think we're doing pretty much all that we can.
Well, we appreciate it. Speaking on behalf of the citizens, we're glad that you're there, and we appreciate the work that you're doing as our mayor. Thank you, sir.
You bet, John. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you. This has been brought to you by Living Waters Hospice. Living Waters Hospice is your hometown hospice. If you or a loved one need more information about hospice services, please do not hesitate to call 928-565-9000. In-home consultations are provided at no cost. Please call Maria Pynakker at 928-444-7401 to schedule your consultation today. Thanks again to the mayor. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time.